Welcome to the PBM Insider. I am Jim Lodge, an actual PBM Insider. Today, we're breaking down the real numbers behind prescription drug spending in the U.S. If you've ever wondered why your pharmacy line item grows faster than every other piece of your health plan, these statistics tell the story. Let's start with what the average American actually spends on prescription drugs. National health spending data shows that on average, people burn through roughly $1,300 worth of prescriptions per year. That's every man, woman, and child in the United States going through $1,300 worth of prescription drugs every year. Now let's look at the brand versus generics versus specialty drugs. Generics make up about 90% of all prescriptions in the U.S., but they represent only about 13% of the total drug spend. The other 10%, the brand drugs, eat up almost 90% of the dollars. It varies, but for most plans, generics average around maybe $10 or $11 per month, while brands can average more than 20 times that. And then there's specialty meds. Sheesh, these suckers can average $5,000 to $9,000 for any given plan, while only being 2% or less of the total claims. It's crazy. That $5,000 to $9,000, that's the monthly cost, folks. And that same pattern holds when you look at members. In a typical employer health plan, only about 5 to 10% of the population is responsible for 70 to 80% of the total medical and pharmacy costs. One widely cited analysis shows that just 1% of members account for 28% of spending, and the top 5% account for more than half. When the spending includes specialty drugs, the curve becomes even more extreme. Speaking of which, in today's environment, specialty drugs drive over 50% of total pharmacy benefit costs. And with GLP-1 drugs exploding nationwide, drugs like Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, all coming in at maybe $1,000 a month or more, well, this trend is accelerating dramatically. Specialty and GLP-1 spending alone are pushing pharmacy trend far, far above overall medical trend. So what's happening at the plan level? Last year, overall U.S. health spending grew around 7.5%, but prescription drug spending grew more than 11%, the fastest growing major category of healthcare. And in employer plans specifically, pharmacy is now more than a quarter of the total healthcare budget, rising 1.5 to 2.5 percentage points faster than overall medical spending. Bottom line, the pharmacy benefit is the tail that's now wagging the entire healthcare dog. This combo of a tiny group of patients, a tiny group of drugs, for a small group of manufacturers is driving the overwhelming majority of plan costs. And unless employers rethink their PBM contracts, their plan design, and their strategy around specialty and high-cost utilization, this trend's just going to keep accelerating. That's the reality behind today's drug spend numbers, and why the pharmacy line is one that every employer should be laser focused on. This is the PBM Insider, keeping you informed.